Hello value investors, thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about DocuSign. DocuSign is a crowd favorite, and we're going to talk about the market in general. Then we're going to talk about DocuSign and where its opportunity lies, and then we're going to talk about its valuation. So if you haven't done so already, don't forget to check out my marketplace on Seeking Alpha. It's called Deep Value Returns, where you're welcome to do a totally free trial to see if it suits you. And I'll give you balanced arguments of the stocks I own. So some of the comments about the market of late. So the first half of 2020, anyone that recognized the opportunity that COVID was going to present for DocuSign was really rewarded. There was no question about it. The second part of 2020, particularly the last 3 months, any shareholder that became involved with DocuSign the last several months, the performance will have been really unimpressive. So this is really kind of come out, and as it stands right now, DocuSign has not only underperformed the S&P 500, it's also underperformed the Nasdaq. So this is quite interesting, and this, I feel, but at least in my opinion, shows that there's not quite a bubble in tech as many people are saying. I think that the market is starting to be more discerning, because it's not that all these type of basket stocks sold off. It's just that the market's trying to see where the opportunity lies ahead. And in this kind of unsure period, I think that there's an opportunity here for investors in DocuSign. So DocuSign's revenue growth rates are very, very strong, and you can see here there's like really starting with the COVID crisis, there's been an acceleration, a substantial acceleration, and the revenue at the high end for Q4, which finishes in January, is for 48% year-over-year growth rates. Now, this is the number to remember, 48% year-over-year growth rates. So DocuSign is trying to expand just from being an eSignature. eSignature is supposed to now just be like its core offering, but it's starting to expand into contract lifecycle management. This is like where it organizes the documents, like who needs to deal with the document, if something has a clause that's important or not important, and goes to the right seniority. So it's trying to really expand into other opportunities. And I believe they may have a chance here. So in this kind of opportunity to be an essential cloud software platform. So I think that this could be something that DocuSign may succeed. And the market at the moment is quite kind of agnostic about it. So as I said before, the revenue growth rate for Q4 is going to be 48%, but the forward billings rate is 42%. So it's not really able to take in bookings at a lower rate than its growth rate. At some point, that growth rate should slow down because the billings is a forward indicator. So this is why the market is kind of like, okay, something's going to happen here, because you don't come out of growing at 53% year over year and then billings at 42%. That's quite a 11,000 basis points acceleration. So it's like the market is like, okay, where do we stand with this? So here's another thing, right? So the bearish thesis here would be around the fact that, incidentally, the short ratio here is only 4%. People not really bearish at all, but the bearish thesis here could be that as the economy opens up, it's going to be very difficult when it comes to having comparisons year over year of 2020. So there's not going to be this strong acceleration anymore. So that's part of the bearish thesis. The bullish thesis that I think is quite valid is that the push from paper to digital, it's here to stay, and that messy paper, nobody wants to deal with that. So I think that that's here to stay. The only question I don't really know is whether it's worth paying up for the growth here. So investors have been asked to pay 22 times forward sales. This is not an outlier. So if you look at Okta, it's a 29 times forward sales. You look at Zoom, 28 times forward sales. So it's quite difficult to know for sure that DocuSign is overvalued. On the other hand of the spectrum, you have Adobe that's a 13 times forward sales, but Adobe obviously is a much more mature business. So in the middle lies DocuSign. So it's not really an outlier in this space. This is what you're paying for a SaaS business, and I think it's a very high quality SaaS. So I have very little doubts that in the long term, DocuSign will be a very strong performer. The question that is important to try and answer is this middle ground. How will DocuSign perform in the middle ground? So as always, don't forget to check out my marketplace on Seeking Alpha. It's called Deep Value Returns. I'll tell you the stocks I own and why, with balanced arguments for the stocks I own. See you soon.